The G1 up against Believe the Hype. This time I can't do shields up, weapons out. I'll have to do it again tomorrow.
Can I do
move
it?
on. What?
Maybe I can do it.
You try it this time. You do the build up and you take it away.
Well, game one, capture the flag here on Argyle, the newest edition of maps
Now do it now, Dan.
in the HCS season.
You're gonna miss your time, Dan.
It's G1 versus Believe the Hype. Can we see maybe some of that history of this incredible organization replicated? Shields up, weapons hot, we're underway. How did I do?
It felt forced.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
On their way, we're on their way. And Booba Dubu picks up the sniper rifle and heads down towards coils, or needles as it's being called. Monster bottom middle, trying to get his hands on that repulsor if he can. Who has managed to sneak away with the camouflage in the meantime? It's going to be Suspector on your screens now. Invisible to the naked eye, and to the fully dressed eye, you would have to say. But gets the trade. Precisin goes down, but Boammx elsewhere has picked up a kill. Monster and Neuronical in the basement. Snipe shot will crack the shields of one. And they're reeling and immediately on the back foot.
Yeah, a really good angle that Suspector's taking in the moment as well. You can see just Believe the Hype turtling a little bit. They want to avoid the sightlines so they don't just get their heads ripped off, because there's two snipers, Falcated and Suspector, both have eyes. Two have gone down, now they're getting aggressive, and they won't pull this flag yet. They want to make sure they can at least find some of these wandering members who are a little bit unknown to them, as it's 3 dead once again, but because Suspector's down to no shields, his flag still won't move.
2 members, Believe the Hype, over towards elbow, and indeed that's where the spawns are coming. 3 members up now, all 4 apiece. Trying to clear out their back base. Suspector recognises he's in trouble, tries to fire a couple of shots over towards Boammx, doesn't connect. And all that early pressure they had will not amount to much in the start.
3 dead for G1, and Believe the Hype now can finally push out of their base. This is sometimes one of the most difficult things on Argyle, is how do you escape when people have 2 snipers to watch you? But Precisin has the grapple, he has the ability to make a real difference as he pushes forward now. It means you can take angles, it means you can get aggressive in certain areas, and even though he's been shut down a little bit there, he can reroute, he can check that GPS, and he can go a different way.
Tried to grapple up to the vent initially, but missed it, just a touch. Looking a little bit sus now as he vents once more, gets pushed back though, but he has a sniper rifle.
Good, like that one. 2 dead, and it does mean now Believe the Hype can try and do exactly what G1 were doing a little bit earlier. Press them back into their base now. You just need to time your kills right. Camo is going to be up. Precisin does still have the ability to repulse up there if he wanted to go for a really aggressive style of picking it up, but I imagine because of the sniper rifle here, his job is merely about taking angles, trying to hit shots to support the rest of the team so someone else can get the power up.
Precisin had his eyes trained across top middle, fires a shot towards Sab. Won't find a home this time. Drops down towards screens to help his teammate. Will get the clean up onto Falcated. Now they can start to move up through the gears. 2 dead apiece. Sniper shot rang out once more. That was enough for Precisin to put it in reverse. You see, Sabinater's gonna try and get his hands on the camouflage. Precisin's shields popped once more, runs into trouble, and gets taken down. 2 dead for Believe the Hype.
Camo's still not being picked up as well, and you can see how difficult it is to push over the halfway line at times because there's so many angles you can be watched from, so many angles people can escape on this map, as finally now Sab can try and do something with it. 3 are dead for Believe the Hype as well, so this is going to be G1's best opportunity to get in that base, get a flag pull, but you've got to be aware of where these spawners are going. I like this from Sab as well, a little bit of trigger discipline. Ensure you get that first kill, but you still need support. G1 need to be pushing with Sab here.
Monster with a beautiful prediction aid. Front base, just into that little R1 space to ensure Sabinater couldn't push as quickly as he would have liked. 1v1, but boom! Comes out on top. You need to win fights just like that.
And for all the talk about Monster for various different reasons, he has been incredible in the online performances we've seen, but particularly in Capture the Flag Argyle, he's actually been the flag guy. He's been the one who's been getting in the face of his opponents, pulling those flags. He has about quadruple the amount of flag pulls as Neuronical. That just shows how often he's going to be in that base, but we haven't seen it yet in this game, and I just want someone to take this game by the scruff of the neck and just try and get some flags moving here.
Bubu Dubu on your screens here. An absolute superstar that G1 managed to secure last year and have now built and forged a team around him. So much talent here. And the height of their expectations this year. They spoke about it. Top 12 was their goal last year. They surpassed that, and now they have to be looking beyond that once again.
And I imagine that Bubu Dubu, ever since his success in Halo 5, has always wanted to replicate that, always wanted to find that young, hungry squad that can do what Splice once did. And maybe this Believe the Hype roster could be that squad. Maybe it won't be this event, but if you can build from this, if you can learn from this event, there's certainly an incredible platform that you may have installed below you as MoNnsTcR now has his chance to shine on the main stage. As the sniper rifle does tag 3 enemies, but unfortunately will go down.
So far, neither team able to break the deadlock here. As Neuronical sends one straight through the visor of bubu dubu. Taste of your own medicine, looking for more. Has he bit off more than he can chew here though? As he's down to just one shot, help of a teammate though, and he backs away.
Yeah, Neuronical, I really think he's the guy on this map for Believe the Hype in terms of making those plays, getting those headshots, doing something with a sniper rifle so he can initiate a push. But there just needs to be someone to be there to make the push after he hits those shots. You've got to think so quickly, you've got to react as fast as possible. Otherwise, suddenly the other team spawned all over again, and those sniper shots, they do nothing for you. The slays, they don't matter if you're not doing them at the right time.
Have got to capitalize on the damage you're putting down the map, but Neuronical hits 4 fresh shots. And that's exactly what he needs.
He got loud as well. That's what you want to see from anyone on that main stage. Let your opponents know. Get a little bit of trash talk on the go. Believe in yourself. And maybe then you can believe the hype as we look 6 minutes left. G1 have been on the back foot a little bit in the last couple of minutes or so. Believe the hype have done very well to push their advantages, but Sab could change things.
Game's been very cagey. Not really been able to get into the base, secure a flag, bring it back. Every time we see a team get in and around the base, they've been shut down pretty quickly. Bubu dubu now, over towards basement. As he clambers up with that camouflage. Can this finally be the moment, the opportunity, as the flag's on the move?
Well, that's the first time we've seen a flag being touched this game, as Sab gets a headshot as well. So now Bubu's not only got camouflage and flag here, he's got support from the rest of the team. Sab gets another one onto MoNnsTcR, 3 are dead, and this should be a cap for G1. They shouldn't throw this one away.
Well, we might be able to put this in the stats column as a 100% completion rate on flags pulled. Bubu dubu walking this one home, strolling, absolutely no pressure put on him. The rest of the team putting in work. And it's G1 who take the lead.
And it took maybe longer than G1 would have wanted. There was a lot of fight back from Believe the Hype. They were defending well. But G1 were able to eventually just break through and do enough, and it was the sniping and the positioning from Sab that perhaps allowed it in combination of that camouflage. And I think that's what this map is all about. It's about timing it right with the camo plus the power weapons that you have in the snipers, and then putting them into effect so you can just get that flawless flag run, so you don't have to get scrappy, so you don't offer any counter caps either.
Bubu dubu then, as he pushes up the enemy elbow. Thinks twice about it though, backs away. Has information that perhaps we don't. Chooses instead to hold the angle with the sniper rifle. As he moves now, up at the screens. Will MoNnsTcR step out? Well, that's a grenade that's hit his own teammate on the backside. And that one's not practiced at.
That's always a frustrating one, and those can be sometimes the opportunities, the mistakes that can allow the other team to break through, but Believe the Hype, they're still in a 3 versus 4 disadvantage. Do tie it up a little bit. Managed to get a couple of kills, but again, Bubu's in the right position at the right time, gets the camouflage. Even if he just burns it here, that's job done.
Boom, picked them out of the air with a Shoryuken. But sure, Bubu dubu gets nowhere close to his flag. Sends a snipe shot across the base. Won't connect though. Falcate's in big trouble. Fades to black. Suspector tries to scramble and scarper away. Bottom cuts, and is successful this time in keeping alive. That repulsor play though, get one. Can he connect with the second one? Grenade's gonna spin up and hit him in the gob. But Sab somehow turns that one around.
And with the addition of Argyle, I think having someone on your team that you can trust with the sniper rifle has become even more important. Like, if he had hit that sniper shot, suddenly it's a completely different push altogether. And you need to have someone who is well practiced, well versed in the sniper. Maybe Neuronical can be the one to make the big difference here. Does push in, does get the kill, but as he gets stuck in the wall and dies, it's a great hold from G1. G1 are now playing in a way where they know they have the lead here, Shurs. They don't really have to push up and try and push their advantages. Instead, it's just stopping Believe the Hype getting a cap.
They seem to be happy with what they have, and with that 1-0 lead, time will now start to be a factor with just under 3 minutes left on the clock. They can just play Slayer, keep their base nice and secure. With Sab, keeping them on the other side of the map. Neuronical's gonna challenge just about wins that engagement.
17 kills for Neuronical, by the way. Really has been the standout here for Believe the Hype. But if he can time these kills, if he can give that opening, there is still going to be a chance they can get back into this game. At times, Believe the Hype have looked the better squad, but G1 have just been a little bit more strict, a little bit more structured. Believe the Hype maybe a little bit scattered all over the place. It's still Neuronical was connecting with shots. Finally, the BR does connect as well. 2 minutes left. What do Believe the Hype do here? Do they start to get a little bit more aggressive? Do they start to get a bit more risky with their pushes? They've got a camo to work with now. Surely this is going to be the best chance.
This might be their only chance. 2 kills in their favor. It's time to go. Sab somehow gets a kill and escapes with his life for now. That sticky grenade is so big. Camouflage a non-factor.
And we saw a similar thing from Sentinels earlier today where Spartan got 2 big sticks and really did change the swing of the game, and sometimes that can be the difference maker. Those clutch moments that if one player had been able to get away, the whole game could have been affected by it. 1 minute 20 left on the clock then. G1 very much turtling back, defending, holding. And that can invite unnecessary pressure at times, but Believe the Hype will try and push through.
Here comes the push then. Neuronical gets 1. Precision, top middle, with a couple of shots down on the Sab. And just a sliver of health left. Sab's decided to get himself out of dodge with the help of a grapple. Opens up that lane. Boam didn't realize that Sab had it in his back pocket ready to go. It was his ticket out of danger. Just patrolling back base. But as you talk about inviting that pressure on, all of a sudden, Believe the Hype are on their front door, and they're looking to kick it in.
Trying to kick it in, but at G1 at the moment, they're barrowing it up with whatever is possible. A bookcase, a chair, it doesn't matter at this point. Throw the desk at it as well. Because Believe the Hype just can't seem to get through. His monster will pop up, he pops back down, and Suspector says, I'll wait for round number 2. Where is he? He hears some noises, the monster from the depths.
Lost them in the clouds, it would seem. He heard the grapple, but just had no idea where to look. Went a little bit cross-eyed trying to find them as 3 go down for G1 now. Hold on a second. Believe the Hype have a chance.
How many times do we see this when you hold for so long, when you want to just win 1-0, but then there is going to be a last-ditch attempt as bubu, though, comes flying in, gets the kill, but the flag's still moving.
Still on the move. What have G1 got then? Boam desperately trying to provide some sort of cover fire. What have G1 got in the tank? A trade comes through. 3 dead for Believe the Hype. Precision last man standing. What can he do here? Can he keep this flag alive? Neuronical throws a grenade, but unfortunately runs out of time. And it's going to be G1 who strike first.
It wasn't pretty, it wasn't easy, it was not comfortable, but it was a game plan from G1. They just needed to get that break. They just needed to get that first flag on the board, and then they said, okay, well, we've had enough control in this game. We believe we can win it by 1. And even though there was a dicey ending and Believe the Hype gave it their best, it just wasn't quite enough. A good attempt, an incredible amount of kills from Neuronical of 21. But unfortunately, it never really opened up for that just strict flag run. It was a flawless flag run, by the way, from G1. It took 6 minutes before we saw a flag pulled, but it was a very impressive one, eventually.
Looking at the stats then, Sab 21, 12, and 7. Falcated with 23, 18, and 4. They are not short of a few slayers in this team.
And they were the 2 players who had the sniper rifles throughout the game as well. They were making it work. They were finding those angles, and they were punishing Believe the Hype off spawn. They made it very difficult for the BtH side to escape when they were trapped in their base. And that made it even more frustrating when they were flagged down, because they could never really get past that halfway point.
Now, how important is it for bubu dubu? We talked about him being the superstar, but now he has teammates around him that he can trust.
Yeah, I think that bubu maybe had a little bit too much responsibility on his shoulders throughout previous teams, and now he's got players who can step up to the plate in all kinds of ways, not just slaying ability, but shot calling abilities as well, objective play. You've got everyone on this G1 roster who can just do something. They can step up on that day and become a superstar, and I think that's what excites me about G1 this year. Next up, though, we've got Slayer Empyrean, so it is going to be an incredibly different game going into match number 2.
Well, speaking of bubu dubu, and indeed, Neuronical, 1.34 KD to a 1.27. Both had a very successful tournament so far in the positive. And if Believe the Hype are going to continue on in this tournament, they need Neuronical to stay hot.
I think that Neuronical maybe has answered any questions there may have been. Can you keep doing it on LAN? He has certainly lived up to the hype. He has been a player who has impressed me with how well he has been able to find slays. It doesn't matter if he seems to be a shot or two down. He's confident enough to get involved in those fights, and he trusts his ability. And it's naturally transitioning to LAN in a very impressive way that I think that, you know, the more that happens, the more they get comfortable on that main stage, he's going to have an opportunity to shine.
I mean, he spoke about bubu dubu and maybe the responsibility that was on his shoulders and the trust that he can have in his teammates. Now, G1 put out a documentary piece just yesterday. If you're interested in that, go check it out. But it must be said, this G1 roster have so much faith in them, and they gave him the keys to the castle and said, go out there and get the players you want. And
it happens quite often in esports where a squad will be built around one player, and that must feel amazing, by the way, to know that the organization trusts you. And it can add extra pressure again, but I think that bubu now has built this roster. He trusts the players that are around him, and there is a far better feeling in the camp with these 4 players. And I will say it once and I'll say it again, that if you get along with your teammates, it is going to help in game. Sure, it's not going to give you an extra 50%, but even 2-3% extra can help in some of these incredibly tight series when you're going up against some of the best teams and best players in the world.
Up next then, Slayer on Empyrean, Dan. We've already seen in this tournament, players play extremely well, teams get blown out of the water, but steak dinners and almost not able to get out of their own side of the map. What can we expect here from these two teams?
Well, I think just judging off game 1, the sniping ability from G1 seems to be a little bit better than that of Believe the Hype, and it's another map that has 2 sniper rifles, so you'd lean towards G1. Statistically, they were 4-2 in qualifiers coming into this tournament, so it is a good map for them, and I think they will be confident going up against BtH. Mainly because there's a lot of discipline on this G1 roster, and sometimes you need that on pit, but in multiple ways, right? When you're on this map, you need to know when to push your advantages. You can't afford to just sit sometimes at halfway and let your enemies come to you, because then you allow flanks to happen. Then you allow someone to get behind you, to get on your tower, and then suddenly they will make your life so difficult, and then suddenly they might have the power weapons, and suddenly they're pushing the advantages. So you always need to be on top of your opposition at all times.
Now, something we can talk about for G1, and Wes touched upon it on the desk. This G1 roster have ambitions of winning championships, getting to grand finals. It's not just about competing and taking part anymore. They want to take over, and you have to be beating teams like Believe the Hype. Not just beating them in a game 5, but showing them who's boss right from the get-go. And in game 1, it was a little bit slower.
A 3-0 would do wonders here for G1, especially when you look at results that have happened elsewhere. I mean, a game 5 between Optic and Quadrant are suddenly the unbeatable team, showing a little bit of a kink in the armor. Is there going to be a chance for teams to take them down? FaZe dropping games as well. If G1 can start to demonstrate that actually they're not going to drop games against some of these teams that are lower seeds, then they start to become added to that discussion of teams that can start to break into that top 3.
Are G1 going to be the pace setters then in pool play? Showing no faults. Results might show 2 zeros in the pools, but there's been some of the top teams have been dropping maps here and there. But G1 so far looking good, and they're in the driving seat to top this pool.
And a very different starting strategy off the bat as well. Believe the Hype prioritizing rockets, G1 prioritizing overshield. It's a tale as old as time, because if you try and split the difference, sometimes you can end up with nothing, but if you can guarantee one, it gives you a chance to take out the other. But it looks like on this occasion, it is going to be overshield beats rockets. Or is it?
That snipe shot seemed to connect and hit hard. Bubu dubu will scramble away, though overshield has dissipated, but they have now got Precisin right where they want them. As he tries to get away on the outskirts of the map, and it looks as though he was successful for a moment as Boammx challenging the world from his platform. Bubu dubu gives him the respect, backs away. Snipe rifle then in his hands. Can he find the shots that he needs? And all 4 members of Believe the Hype over towards Sword and Runway here.
All 8 players in this game are over towards Sword, and it's kind of crazy. You want someone to maybe get an angle here for G1, because bubu has the sniper rifle here in Sword. He can definitely hit some body shots. If you've got someone over towards Green or even on Bridge training, they can finish this. If there was someone on Green or training, maybe you finish that shot as well. So I think that G1 need to spread themselves out a little bit, but because Believe the Hype are forcing themselves into Sword, maybe G1 are just responding in that way, saying, we'll take you 4-on-4.
Bubu dubu, confidence flowing through the veins, stands rock solid still, waiting for Boamm to challenge. Happy with the damage he's done, and will back away, put the trust in his teammates to apply the finishing touches to that kill. Neuronical now we've got Precisin top tower, putting the shots down. It's Boammx who picks up 2 massive kills.
And it makes sense now. You can see what G1 were trying to do. They were just trying to force one of their players on top of the tower so that they could take advantage of it, get those angles, and control it for the rest of the game. But because the sniper shots didn't then hit, Believe the Hype very aggressively pushed that player off of tower, and that's what you need to do. Get him off as soon as possible.
Neuronical to the World of Hurt, tries to scramble. Fortunately, he got one, but that was all it was good for. G1 starting to claim territory on Believe the Hype side of the map. That's going to spell misery. And they have got to be cleared out here, or at least flip the map. Rockets are about to pop up here, and you can see Monster's right where he needs to be as they pop out of the oven. Is he going to fall for it? There's going to be a trade there. Rocket still ripe for the picking.
Incredible play from bubu as well, expecting a player just to be waiting and hovering on those rockets. It's something we've seen for the last X amount of years. It's not something that's new and going to surprise your opponent, really. Still no kill for Suspector just yet, but we will keep an eye on it. It's Sab who's been picking up the slays, 13 and 12, so still a very close one, but it's Overshield that goes in favor of Believe the Hype here, as Precisin can't quite connect with the further shots. But it does seem a scrappy one, Shurs.
At the moment, though, it's G1 getting the better of it. 3 kill, making 4 kill advantage now. And they seem to be living rent-free on Believe the Hype side of the map. Precisin will slide out, but a back-whack comes through, and you can see bubu's face. He had no idea that player was positioned there.
Well, Believe the Hype, they're down by 3, but they are doing incredibly well to push out of their spawns. I think this would be the perfect time to jump into a listening.
Those are long.
Yo, on S1, there's one. They're
Push my green, guys.
They're second.
I got one.
Second.
Yeah,
Yeah, he went the cuts. He's going S2. He's gonna go.
Get ready to shoot him.
And there's on green. You guys are green. I'm one shot. I can't really do.
One shot their back round.
Fun, that's
Guys,
just.
push me maybe. I need help.
I can help you.
One shot their sword ramp. Okay. Another one S2 after.
Watch it.
On me, guys. I hear one. He's still in the box.
There's two, he saw me.
Push me.
I think he's there training.
He could be runway.
I don't like you.
Training, one shot, they're training. They're training one shot,
I
The
can't.
corner, one shot.
I'm one shot.
Same thing.
Got me. Fuck, dude, there's two.
S2.
They're trying, guys. I think we're under sword. Yeah, I think you're gonna flank them.
I give
Two
up.
membered to their sword.
Yo.
Their sword are really weak, guys. Our
Sword.
Jump down, dead.
Nice.
Yo, he went down under bridge.
He's in sword, I think.
Nice.
I can root pulse on this sword.
OV guys.
by the way.
OV rockets.
Sword.
Here, chance.
They're sword sniping.
Dude.
One shot.
Absolute.
S3. Dead, bro. There's two. To their S2.
Sword ramp, to their sword ramp. Three.
I'm here.
They might push you. Careful.
And a vast difference in callouts. It was quite calm for a short while. They were reluctant to peek, but then suddenly the energy picks up. As soon as slays go the other way, I think the one big thing we learned from that listening is Believe the Hype just being a little too cautious here, not pushing their advantages when they have the sniper rifle, and G1 then instead flipping it by hitting snipers shots of their own.
There's a very key play in that whole listening as well, where Monster gets a player weak on the training, calling him out, realizes no one's coming to clean up that kill, and steps out himself and gets his face cleaned right off his shoulders, and things like that, frustration starts to set in, and you can hear it in the comms.
Yeah, and it's the same as game one. You know, it's the snipers that are making the difference. Hitting those headshots could do your team wonders, not just for confidence, but allowing players to push into angles like this. They're behind enemy lines. Now Falcated, being a nuisance, has the drop ball to work with as well. And just look at how G1 are working in tandem. They are always in at least a 2, but for the most part, they were in a 4 at the start of the game. They are always aping the other team and really trying to press their advantages.
Sab, situate over towards the sword. Trying to help his teammate bubu out here. Backs away though, and perhaps will sacrifice bubu to the slaughter. Sniper rifle has just popped up, and bubu somehow, some way picks up 2 kills. He can't be doing things like that.
And he's done damage and he's got info, and that means the rest of the squad can push in to take advantage of it. It's Falcated who cleans up the rest. And now suddenly there is a 9-kill difference between these teams, and Falcated has sniper on tower. This is bad news for BtH.
Can Falcated find a couple of faces then? Bodies might do. One on the Boam. Position straight back to top tower. Demon D would be proud. Neuronical tucks tail, hides, waits for his teammates to spawn back up. Recognizing Falcated has the ultimate power position on their side of the map.
And just look how reluctant BtH are to move because they know Falcated's there. They need to move as a unit. Someone needs to put suppressing fire. They've done just that. You force Falcated off, but is there anyone to challenge it? Someone now has to press tower, but unfortunately, because of the angles of Suspector, G1 are just pinning Believe the Hype in. They've got 2 snipers. This game should be over.
Only cleared Falcated out for a moment. He goes right back, top tower, raining down death and destruction once more. A 13 kill lead here as he fires those 2 remaining sniper shots, locks in a killing spree. Falcated's taken over.
I love everything about this G1 roster, and that is one of the reasons why they just... Every player has the ability to pull something out of their sleeve when you least expect it. Overshield's about to pop. Monster is going to be on it. So this is going to be Believe the Hype's last chance to try and get back into this game. Utilize the overshield to get your advantage and then do exactly what G1 have just done to you.
It's the old cliche though, it has to be perfect. Plasma pistol's already in the hands of G1. They're looking to counter it. It doesn't connect this time. Monster fires a shot, but that overshield's almost completely gone.
So you're down by 11. You do have rockets, but one rocket goes wayward. You still clean up the kill, so that's at least the first piece of the puzzle. Now this is still doable from Believe the Hype, but you've got to watch your angles and you need support from the rest of your team. You can't afford to allow trades to happen here.
Boam needs help. Here comes the cavalry, but is it going to be enough? Next few kills are going to be so important here. They can ill afford to lose numbers. 40-47 the score. Suspector manages to find 1, but all of a sudden Believe the Hype have control of G1's base.
Down by 7. And Believe the Hype know they just need to go for those trades. Sometimes that could be down to just forcing a few players onto one. If you notice there's a straggling player somewhere, then you for sure are getting involved in that gunfight. You need to be aware of your opponent's position. What angles are they holding? What are they trying to press? The map's been completely flipped now at this point. They go all the way around and they find one more.
One more kill then to double the series lead. Is Boam going to be the latest victim? They're sending 2, yes they is! And it's 2-0 in the series. Believe the Hype showed signs of life, but not enough. G1 in cruise control now.
Believe the Hype just getting those power weapons and power-ups a little bit too late. They weren't able to find the advantages that G1 had earlier in the game, and it was really that control of the sniper tower. Falcated just going off, and even though he didn't get incredible amount of kills, he wasn't like getting an amount of kills in the slaying department that anyone would really talk about. It was the importance of the kills he was able to pick up around the rest of the squad.
Not only the importance of the kills he was getting, but the damage, coupled with the fact that he had a power position. He locked in a killing spree when really he should have been cleared out long and long ago. You called for it, they backed him down, but didn't capitalize on the damage then, and Believe the Hype just let him stay there.
Yeah, you have to have someone who is prepared to take that risk and put their life on the line to push up on tower. It's never a fun fight to take, but if you recognize the damage has been done, if a grenade has connected, you for sure need to get someone there. And the fight that did happen at S1, Falcated still was able to win. Right, as we look at damage, I mean, it was Sab with 4.7k. Again, he was doing crazy things with a sniper rifle, but the entire G1 roster stepped up and showed us great teamwork on Imperium TS.
Confirmation of what we've seen then. CTF Argyle 1-0 and Slayer Imperium 50-42. But I've seen enough from Believe the Hype, particularly in the latter stages of that Slayer, Dan, to let me know that this team's not done. And after this series, they've got a lot more tournament to play.
Yeah, I think that Believe the Hype are certainly showing exciting moments. They are showing glimpses of what they're capable of, and maybe it's not quite the dominance that we saw online in certain games. You have to remember that this is a G1 roster who also have been incredibly impressive, not just online, but now it seems to have been converted to LAN very comfortably indeed. But if Believe the Hype can maybe get a little bit of momentum from Game 3, even just find a map in this series, in this tournament they can still make waves. We could still have that historic moment published again here in front of our very eyes. But for now, it seems to be the G1 story. And it was just the dominance, really, of sniper rifles in maps number 1 and number 2.
I think the issue that BtH had, they allowed G1 to dictate the pace of the game and control their side of the map more often than not.
Well, we heard it in the listen-ins, right? They had the sniper shots, they were doing the damage, and then I heard, don't poke, don't face, don't peek out. And it's like, you've got to be able to take those risks and peek out and face to be able to convert some of those sniper shots to be hit. As soon as you're saying to your teammates, don't peek out or don't face, then there's going to be that element of fear. You can't show any fear against G1 because then G1 will push their advantages. And also, G1 then will dominate the game, right? They will sense you're scared and they will be pushing onto you.
That's it, isn't it? It's a mentality the way you're playing Halo. You spoke about them turtling up on Argyle. G1 almost did it, the same thing on Argyle. Open the door and let Believe the Hype walk in for that final flag cap to tie up the game. And if you hand the initiative over to G1, they'll punish you for it. But live fire loading up here, Dan, talk to me about it. What can we expect to see?
Well, I think that, again, we've got a sniper rifle on our hands. It's not going to be 2 this time. But I think one of the things Believe the Hype have to recognize from maps number 1 and 2 is how influential that sniper has been. Take it out of the hands of G1. Don't even allow them to be able to start popping off with it. But I will say G1, when it comes to strongholds, their rotations are excellent. They know exactly when to be pushing their advantages, when to be pushing onto spawns, and when to not push on spawns. This is going to be a difficult game for Believe the Hype, but if we can see some of those glimpses, some of those moments where they did show promise, maybe they can get themselves back into this series.
Is this the perfect opportunity then for Believe the Hype to catch G1 slow, catch them cold? Perhaps if G1 already think the job is done, a little bit of complacency might set in here. But 2 go down for BtH. And Suspector indeed for G1. Early engagements traded out. 2-2 split for a moment it was. Overshield just popped up and you can see all eyes on it, and you can see why. Precisin secures it for his team, but can they capitalize on this now?
And that was thanks to the support from MoNnsTcR as well. When it does come to strongholds, as unfortunately Plasma Pistol rips that overshield right away from him. MoNnsTcR's going to be that guy to defend these strongholds when they are in control, and it's going to be Neuronical who we got to look out for Believe the Hype to make that difference of pushing the strongholds, of taking them away from their opponents. It's not going to be easy though, because G1 are so good with their structure here on Strongholds Live Fire.
You spoke about the sniper rifle, and it's already doing the damage. Neuronical will be spawning back up in a moment, but you can see MoNnsTcR desperately trying to stay alive as Falcated finally puts him to bed. Suspector with the sniper rifle now back green. A and B in control of G1. BtH have just got control of C. And our G1 now happy to hold what they have and keep scoring points for now.
They will be until slays happen, and then they'll make an assessment of where they need to go. They saw that C was going to be where the spawners were, so they immediately got the cap onto A and B. And now they wait. Now you have a little battle in middle. If we see the rotation towards A, you take the fight A. If you see the rotation towards B, you take the fight B. It's about when you prioritize overshield. When do you move away from one of these strongholds? Do you give it up just temporarily? And it looks like that might be a decision here from G1.
They've given up A and B. The trade-off will be overshield, but just like that, Neuronical gets the kill. Suspector desperately tries to pop it into his chest and just secures it for his team. 2v2 on the map now. Making it 2v1. And is that trade-off going to be successful? All 4 dead for BtH, and G1 take control again.
So frustrating when you're on the opposition side, when you see that overshield just get punched into the chest when they're on no shields. Could have been so different for BtH had they got that kill with a grenade, but now Suspector still alive, on the killing spree, still has the sniper rifle in his back pocket, but he is going to be out of ammo, so he switches it out now. 86-7, Believe the Hype struggling to even get out of spawn sometimes.
Trades come through. Believe the Hype have man advantage for a moment, but just like that, it's equalized. Suspector will capture B. 2 captures in their favor now. C is going to be the point of contention. If G1 want to connect to make this a triple cap, they have the slays in their favor if they choose to do it. Suspector tries to use the repulsor, and just like that, numbers advantage flipped on its head.
So this could be the first time we see Believe the Hype with a chance at holding some control on this map, especially now they've got that sniper rifle. That could be huge. MoNnsTcR, a lot of responsibility, but unfortunately he will go down as well. As we take a look across to Neuronical. He'll just be quiet in the moment, wants to stay as quiet as possible to maybe hold B, but this is good. You need to react as quick as possible to help the rest of your team if it's going to be a full send towards C.
Neuronical, the jig is up. They know exactly where he is. Dubu takes care of business. The heat wave in the hands of Boammx. Can he connect? Didn't need to this time. The damage is already done by MoNnsTcR. As he descends on one, Suspector goes down. And BtH now starting to roar to life. B and C in their control, and now a triple cap.
You can really see the difference now. They've got weapons to work with as well. The first attempt just hits the body, but the second one will do the job. Overshield's coming up. MoNnsTcR's in the right position at the right time. Very similar to Empyrean, actually. He was always there, willing to be putting his life on the line for the overshield, knowing how important it is. But now you've got to put it to work.
Suspector made that a very difficult kill Overshield almost completely gone, but they maintain this triple cap, and that early progress that G1 had in this game, it's almost completely gone.
It was such a huge lead, but this can be the difference sometimes between getting that total control or just holding those twos. And if you are a team who likes to pressure advantages, likes to go for the full three, you can suddenly get an incredible amount of points. And now, Believe the Hype have the lead, and G1 are very much on the back foot here.
It's high risk, high reward going for the triple cap, but when it works, you can see the results on your screens here. Cloud completely back into this game, and it's exactly what the doctor ordered here. Maintaining this A-B hold. Slay is going to be so important. Precision gets the first one. Ultimately, he gets traded out. You can see Suspector immediately turns his attention towards B now. Heatwave face to face, but he gets the melee. A punch to the gob, and that'll be enough to send him away. But G1 perhaps caught a little bit by surprise here that they were in a triple cap for so long.
Well, I think G1 were doing well objectively, but Believe the Hype were winning the slaying game, and now it's finally actually resulting in some points here. G1 haven't really been able to stabilize ever since Believe the Hype got so aggressive. Now they'll be scoring. They can't afford to allow Believe the Hype to have such easy slays, as a big double from Bubu will now get G1 back into the equation and give them the opportunity to go for this trip cap. And I think that's good. Sometimes you have to react to a team who pushes aggressively for trip cap by going for them yourselves.
What have BtH got then to break open this setup? Sab got the first kill, and looks like Bubu got tagged up by a friendly grenade. Overshields up very, very soon. Which team will secure it? Or will it be the difference maker? A and C remain in control of G1 right now. Overshield has been scooped up by Bubu. He's moving down bottom middle, cleans up one, turns his attentions now over towards C, knows the player back tower. He gets cleared out, the eviction notice comes. It's 150 to 139, and just all of a sudden G1 have flipped it back again.
Yeah, just like that, suddenly G1 have more slays than Believe the Hype now, and it was a killing spree from Bubu. The leader of this squad, the captain of this squad, who's been entrusted with building a new roster. Just being able to push his advantages and shut Believe the Hype down when it looked like they had gained enough momentum to perhaps take this game. Sniper rifle now in the hands of G1 as well, and the grenades are good too. Believe the Hype, will this just crush them now? Is this the last straw? What do they have left in their tank would be my biggest question.
Trying to get A. That'll only stop the bleeding. And G1 will continue the score. 2 go down though. They have managed to capture it. Monster will scamper away bottom middle. He's hoping to maybe bait G1 in and spawn his teammates elsewhere. Falcade happy to hold B. The call has come. Wait for the next round of slays. But who will they favor? Neuronical's back tower. He's managed to just escape. Grenade comes through, will not tag up Falcade this time. Fight will be traded out. Believe the Hype down 2. Trying to capture B. But both members positioned over towards green, this spells danger.
But just like map number 2, I fear that maybe Believe the Hype got back into this game a little bit too late. They allowed far too early a lead for G1, and even though they took the advantage and they took the lead, as soon as they lost that control, G1 were able to wrestle this game back, and now they're 10 points away from taking the series.
They haven't looked back. That early bit of pressure that BtH had, it hasn't amounted to much more. As G1 remain in the driver's seat, cutting BtH apart. And that's gonna be it. G1 with the clean sweep.
So maybe it's not quite going to be the story of 2008 just yet, but there were moments of promise from Believe the Hype. But it's maybe not the same roster that G1 would have faced in online competition. It does seem like G1 have converted better to the LAN environment. But that comes down to experience. That comes down to the players that are on this roster. That's why this G1 roster exists. They've looked for those players that have that experience. They've looked for those players who are ready to take that next step. This G1 roster has their eyes not just on top 3, they have their eyes on finals. They have their eyes on championships. This is what the building has been around. This is what the target has been.
G1 unfazed by the big stage. When the lights shine brightest, when there's a little wobble, they're always there to pick up the pieces. And on the other side of the stage, BtH, this is valuable reps for them. They've only come together in this last short while. They've seen early success online, and they're hoping to build upon it now.
It's sometimes the experience you need on main stage to take a loss, to know that feeling, to then propel you into more practice, into more determination, so that The next time you face this team on LAN, you want to make sure you take them down. What could you do? Are you going to study more? What didn't you do enough coming to this event? Did you get a little bit more nervous than you would expect? Are you going to be more comfortable next time? As we can take a look at the stats, you can see Suspector, 18 kills. He was the standout player. Again, the sniper rifle did make a difference with some of the shots I was able to see as well. But I think G1 will be delighted with that game in particular when they went down, right? When we saw that total control from Believe the Hype, they were able to wrestle that game back thanks to several different factors, but it was a bubu dubu killing spree that really did it for me.
Looking at the damage then, 4,500 for Suspector. Boam, a little bit shy of that with 4,100, so he was putting down damage, as was Sab. But what I was most impressed by G1 in that game was prioritizing Overshield. Happy to give up caps to do it, but then being able to turn the screw. Confirmation then, G1 with the clean sweep, 1-0 on Argyle, 50-42 Slayer Empyrean, and 250 to 139 Strongholds live fire.